Good day, my name is Blue Suit and today I'll be going over my review of the gorgeously dark, body-snatching, Souls-like action title known as Mortal Shell. In Mortal Shell, you awake as a fragile revenant in a land of mystery. In this form, even a single hit will kill you, so after stumbling through the tutorial, your first objective is to find that which makes this game unique, a mortal shell. Essentially the husks of fallen warriors. There are 4 shells in the game, and each one has a backstory linked to its individual skill tree that must be learned and unlocked. In most Souls-like games, builds are much more obscure and made by dumping points into stats as you level up. However, in Mortal Shell, builds are only made up of a weapon and a shell. The first you will find is Haros, which I ended up using more than any other. And as you unlock their skill trees, you also gain access to the bits of the shell's past life, and thus slowly uncovering more and more of the world around you. Each shell has its own strengths, and they are all balanced and unique. Haros, for example, specializes in better use of the game's harden mechanic. Harden is a huge part of Mortal Shell. In this game there are no shields and there is no blocking. Instead, you can harden your body to stone for as long as you want. And if somebody attacks you, you explode outward, staggering your opponents and remaining invincible for a brief moment. What makes it great is that you can harden in the middle of your attack animation, allowing you to take a hit and then continue your attack combos. It does, however, have a short cooldown, so waiting for the right time to use it will require some patience and game knowledge. However, once you get good with it, it gives combat a great, uninterrupted flow that feels deeply satisfying. But for as much as the harden mechanic brings to Mortal Shell's combat, it also serves to make the combat easier and less interesting. You won't really need to learn any of the fights because they can all follow the same formula of harden, attack, run away, and repeat. With harden on such a short cooldown, you can do this over and over again regardless of what you're fighting. There certainly are more ways to play Mortal Shell, but having this foolproof strategy to fall back on really diminished the fear that I was supposed to have when facing major bosses. The other major element of combat is the weapons, which Mortal Shell does much differently than the rest of the genre. There are only 4 different weapons in the game, and all of their stats, as well as yours, are hidden, making choosing a weapon quite difficult. There is the standard broadsword, the 2-handed mace, the quick hammer and chisel, and my weapon of choice, the 2-handed greatsword. Each weapon can have its damage upgraded as well as unlocking 2 weapon skills. The weapon skills are really what make each weapon shine, as they're all very flashy and over the top. The greatsword, for example, is imbued with the power of ice, and its weapon skills allow you to tap into that by summoning a great ice blade or freezing the entire area around you. These skills pull power from your resolve, which some shells use better than others. As you attack foes quickly, you gain resolve that can be spent on the various skills that you unlock. Beyond weapon skills, there's also a super powerful parry riposte system that uses a bar of resolve to heal you, or you can use it to dish out big combo damage to your foes. The Shell of Solomon, for example, can completely refill all of his resolve bars on a successful riposte kill. I really liked the parry system in Mortal Shell, because you can only use it when you have resolve, so it tends to be more of an offensive option, and the actual animation for it is clear on where your parry window is. Additionally, there's the familiarity system, which I absolutely loved. Using an item for the first time will result in that item's weakest effect, and only once you've used that item over and over and over again do you fully realize its powers. Healing items become stronger, hurtful items become buffs, and seemingly useless items become invaluable. Even my loot abilities got better every time I played it. It added so much mystery to the items I never used, and killed my chronic elixir effect, where I never wanted to use items in case I needed them in the future. The last great thing that I want to touch on with Mortal Shell is the progression. Since you don't ever level up and your weapons only become a bit stronger between the beginning and end of the game, you can choose the order of your adventure. Mortal Shell's story is draped over 3 major bosses and a final boss, and you have free reign to decide who to tackle first. Initially I felt lost until I realized that was how I was supposed to feel. Wandering around and getting the feel for combat before discovering the first boss was a really great way to spend the first few hours of the game. Mortal Shell has some amazing and unique elements that make it stand out from other Souls-likes, but there are as many reasons why it's not quite worth the price. For starters, because there are only 4 shells and 4 weapons, you won't have the endless replayability that comes with the genre standards. Instead of doling out points at every level up, you just pick a shell and pick a weapon and start killing. It's more of a diet Souls that gets you right into the action without the RPG elements. The second issue I had with it was the level design. Every single level is beautifully artistic and has a clear theme and idea behind it. However, most of them are also confusing and frustrating all the time. The main hub where you spend most of your time is a swamp area that always looks the same, no matter which part of it you're in. You absolutely will spend hours lost in it, just wishing that there was a map so you can see where you are. Other locations are littered with random holes in the floor, enemies hiding outside of the camera's view, or areas that look like secrets, but are actually just death. And the final, biggest reason why Mortal Shell falls short is in its longevity. From title screen to credits, you should expect this game to only take about 9 to 10 hours. With the different shells, there's plenty of room for a second playthrough, but given the harden mechanic, the gameplay really won't change enough between shells to bring most players into a third or even second playthrough. Right now you can pick up Mortal Shell on Epic Games Store for $30, and I think its value falls just short of that. It has a short story campaign, but the gameplay is very fun and very satisfying, so I'm valuing it at $28, and I would recommend it to fans of Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 who need some of that old gameplay, but don't mind sacrificing the RPG elements. I hope you enjoyed this review of Mortal Shell. Come see me on Twitch where you can watch our reviews in progress 5 nights a week. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Until next time, peace!